Picture this. A machine weighing over 400 tons is hurtling toward the ground at 170 miles per hour. In less than a second, its wheels go from completely still to spinning faster than a Formula One car at top speed. And yet, those tires almost never fail. How is that even possible? Most people assume airplane tires are just bigger, tougher versions of car tires. That assumption is completely wrong, and understanding why reveals one of the most elegant pieces of engineering you've never thought about. The truth is, airplane tires are designed to survive conditions that would instantly destroy any tire you've ever seen on a road. They handle forces that seem physically impossible, and they do it thousands of times before being replaced. When I first started researching this topic back in 2018, I explained the basics to a friend over coffee. His jaw literally dropped. That conversation made me realize how fascinating this subject really is, and how few people understand what's actually happening beneath those massive aircraft. Today, we're going to break down every layer of this engineering marvel, from the materials inside to the invisible gas that makes it all work. Here's where it gets interesting. A typical car tire operates at around 30 to 35 psi of pressure. That's enough to support a 2-ton vehicle cruising down the highway. An airplane tire, on the other hand, operates at pressures between 200 and 250 psi, roughly 6 to 7 times higher. Some aircraft tires are inflated to nearly 300 psi. To put that in perspective, that's more pressure than you'd find in a scuba diving tank. And this isn't just about supporting weight while parked at the gate. This pressure needs to remain stable through extreme temperature swings, violent impacts, and conditions that would cause most materials to fail catastrophically. But wait, there's more to this than just high pressure. The construction of an airplane tire is radically different from anything you'd find on a car. While car tires are designed primarily for grip and comfort over long distances, airplane tires are built for one thing above all else: surviving repeated extreme impacts. The outer rubber compound is specially formulated to resist heat and abrasion at levels that would melt standard rubber in seconds. Beneath that outer layer, you'll find multiple plies of reinforced nylon or aramid fiber, woven in precise patterns to distribute stress evenly across the entire structure. Some tires have as many as 30 separate layers, each one adding strength without adding unnecessary weight. Think about it this way. When a car tire hits a pothole, it might experience a force of a few hundred pounds for a fraction of a second. When an airplane touches down, each main gear tire absorbs an impact force that can exceed 38 tons. That's the weight of about 25 average cars concentrated on a single tire, happening in less than a second. And the tire needs to handle this impact not once, but hundreds of times over its service life. The engineering required to achieve this is nothing short of remarkable. When I visited the Boeing factory in 2021, I had the chance to see these tires up close. Holding one in my hands, I was struck by how dense and heavy they felt compared to their size. A technician explained that the rubber compound alone goes through over 200 quality checks before it's approved for use. That level of precision is what separates aviation engineering from everything else. Now let's talk about one of the most counterintuitive aspects of airplane tire design: the lack of tread. If you've ever looked closely at an airplane tire, you've probably noticed that the tread pattern is surprisingly simple compared to car tires. There are no complex grooves designed for water evacuation, no intricate patterns for maximum grip. Instead, you see relatively shallow circumferential grooves, and that's about it. This isn't a cost-cutting measure or an oversight. It's a deliberate engineering choice. Here's the genius part. Car tires need deep tread patterns because they need to channel water away from the contact patch to prevent hydroplaning at highway speeds. But airplane tires operate under such extreme pressure that they literally push water out of the way through sheer force. The contact patch is so heavily loaded that water has no choice but to be displaced. Additionally, runways are specifically engineered with grooves and drainage systems to remove water before the tire even touches down. The tire and the runway work together as a system, each designed to complement the other. But there's one detail that changes everything about how these tires survive, and it's something you can't see at all: the gas inside. Unlike car tires, which are filled with regular compressed air, airplane tires are filled with nitrogen. At first, this might seem like an unnecessary complication. After all, air is 78% nitrogen anyway. Why bother with the extra step of using pure nitrogen? The answer lies in what happens during a landing. When those tires hit the runway and spin up from 0 to over 200 miles per hour in a fraction of a second, they generate enormous amounts of heat through friction. The rubber heats up, and so does the gas inside. If that gas were regular air, the moisture content would be a serious problem. Water vapor inside the tire would expand unpredictably as temperatures spike, creating pressure variations that could weaken the tire structure or cause a blowout. Pure nitrogen contains virtually no moisture, so the pressure increase during heating is predictable and manageable. My grandfather used to say that the best engineering solutions are the ones that seem obvious only after someone explains them. Nitrogen in airplane tires is exactly that kind of solution. It's simple, elegant, and solves multiple problems at once. The lack of moisture also prevents internal corrosion of the wheel rim and eliminates the risk of ice formation at high altitudes where temperatures can drop below -60 degrees Fahrenheit. And now comes the most impressive part of the entire system: the braking. Once those tires are spinning at full speed and firmly planted on the runway, they need to help stop an aircraft that might weigh 500,000 pounds and still be traveling at 150 miles per hour. The braking system on a commercial aircraft is a masterpiece of heat management. Carbon-carbon brake discs, similar to those used in Formula One racing, can absorb and dissipate enormous amounts of energy. During a rejected takeoff, where the pilot aborts at high speed, brake temperatures can exceed 1,400 degrees Celsius. That's hotter than molten lava. The tires are engineered to survive this thermal assault through a combination of heat-resistant compounds and clever airflow design. The wheel assemblies include thermal plugs that are designed to melt at a specific temperature, releasing air from the tire before the pressure can build to dangerous levels. It's a controlled failure that prevents a catastrophic one. Engineers thought about what happens when things go wrong and built the solution directly into the system. Let me share something that really puts this in perspective. A single set of main landing gear tires on a Boeing 777 costs around $5,000 per tire. That might sound expensive until you consider that each tire can handle approximately 500 landings before replacement. That's 500 cycles of going from 0 to 200 miles per hour, absorbing impacts of nearly 40 tons, heating up to extreme temperatures, and then cooling back down. The cost per landing works out to about $10 per tire. For that price, you get engineering that borders on the miraculous. But the story doesn't end with the tires themselves. The entire landing gear system is designed as an integrated whole, where every component works together to absorb and distribute the enormous forces involved. The shock absorbers, technically called oleo struts, use a combination of oil and compressed gas to cushion the impact. As the gear compresses during touchdown, oil is forced through small orifices, converting the kinetic energy of the descending aircraft into heat that dissipates harmlessly. The system is so effective that passengers barely feel the moment of touchdown on a well-executed landing. There's another factor that most people never consider: tire pressure monitoring. Unlike your car, where a warning light might come on if a tire is a few psi low, aircraft tire pressure is monitored with extreme precision. Ground crews check tire pressures before every flight, and many modern aircraft have automated systems that continuously monitor tire condition. A tire that's even slightly underinflated creates uneven stress distribution during landing, which can dramatically reduce its service life and increase the risk of failure. The inspection process itself is fascinating. After every landing, tires are visually inspected for cuts, bulges, or unusual wear patterns. Every few hundred cycles, they undergo more thorough examination, including X-rays, to check for internal damage that might not be visible on the surface. When a tire finally reaches the end of its service life, it's not thrown away. The outer tread is removed and the casing is inspected. If it passes inspection, new tread is applied and the tire goes back into service. A single tire casing might be retreaded up to 7 times before it's finally retired. I used to feel dumb watching technical videos that made everything seem more complicated than it needed to be. Now I understand that complexity isn't impressive. Clarity is. And the clarity of purpose in airplane tire design is what makes it so remarkable. Every single element serves a function. Nothing is decorative or unnecessary. Consider the landing approach from the tire's perspective. At 35,000 feet, the tire is sitting in temperatures around -60 degrees Fahrenheit, contracted and relatively rigid. As the aircraft descends, temperatures rise and the rubber becomes more flexible. By the time touchdown occurs, the tire has warmed to ambient temperature and is ready to absorb the impact. Then, within seconds, it heats up dramatically from friction before cooling again as the aircraft taxis to the gate. This thermal cycling happens hundreds of times, and the tire is designed to handle every transition. Modern aircraft like the Airbus A380 have 22 wheels divided between the nose gear and multiple main gear assemblies. This distribution spreads the aircraft's massive weight across many contact points, reducing the load on each individual tire. It also provides redundancy. If one tire fails, the remaining tires can handle the extra load long enough to complete a safe landing. Pilots train specifically for tire failure scenarios, and the aircraft systems are designed to remain controllable even with multiple tire failures. The future of airplane tires is equally fascinating. Researchers are experimenting with new rubber compounds that can handle even higher temperatures and last longer between replacements. Some are exploring airless tire designs that would eliminate the possibility of blowouts entirely. Others are developing smart tires with embedded sensors that provide real-time data on tire condition, temperature, and remaining service life. These innovations build on decades of refinement, but push the technology in directions that seemed impossible just a few years ago. What strikes me most about airplane tire engineering is how invisible it is. Millions of people fly every day without ever thinking about what's happening beneath them during those critical seconds of landing. They don't know about the nitrogen, the reinforced plies, the thermal plugs, or the incredible forces at play. And that invisibility is actually the point. The best engineering is the kind you never have to think about because it simply works, every time, without fail. My grandfather sparked my curiosity about machines when I was 12 years old, showing me the inside of a broken washing machine. He would have loved this topic. The idea that something as simple as a tire could contain so many layers of ingenuity, so many problems solved with elegant solutions, so much invisible complexity working perfectly. That's what engineering is really about. Not showing off, but solving problems so well that people forget the problems ever existed. So the next time you're on a plane and you feel that gentle bump of touchdown, remember what just happened. Tires that were sitting still moments ago just accelerated faster than a race car. They absorbed forces that would crush a car flat. They heated up hundreds of degrees and maintained their integrity. And they did all of this so smoothly that you probably didn't even notice. That's not an accident. That's the result of over a century of continuous improvement, millions of hours of testing and engineering wisdom passed down through generations. Now I'm curious, did anything in this video surprise you? Let me know in the comments which part of airplane tire design you found most fascinating. And if you want to see more about the hidden engineering in everyday things, make sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell. There's a whole world of incredible machines out there, and we've only scratched the surface.